Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack, and we are headed into the very first tournament action of today's Let It Ride tournament, the amateur tournament. That is for gold and platinum players. We're going to be watching Deylon versus Eriksson. It'd be funny if the other guy's name was Sony, and then would be Sony Eriksson. That would have been fun. Sony and Eriksson. However, we will be watching Deylon. So he is going to be spawning as our red Zerg player here on Crevasse. This is GSL's version, Crevasse. And his opponent, Eriksson, is spawning as the blue Protoss down here in the bottom right side. Top left, bottom right, we're going to have far cross positions here. The nice thing about this map is there is a small expansion. It only has 6 mineral patches, as you can see here, and a Vespene Geyser. In this particular version, it is not a rich Vespene Geyser. There is a version, I know, that it's got a rich Vespene Geyser here. However, that is not this one, and this one apparently is the one that people use more for tournaments, so we are going to be using it as well. Okay, so Eriksson, I'm going to go out to the website here for just a second and take a look and see what we've got for leagues here. Okay, so Deylon and Eriksson. Boy, I can't find them on here. Wow, it's a long list today. Okay, can't tell. So they are going to be gold or platinum, one of the two, potentially even silver, but other than that, I just can't tell. So sorry about that, my goodness. Oh man, we barely got this thing up and running today. I had some serious computer trouble. I was having my XSplit crash on me over and over and over again. That is the software that allows me to do this live streaming, and it was brutal. So I'm still just a little bit flustered, I'll be honest. But we got it up in time, so I'll try and calm myself down and get back into this game. Looks like we're going to have pretty good time here. Deylon getting a lot of map control. He does have this drone that he snuck into his opponent's base here, so that's kind of cool. Is he going to give this guy away here? Yeah, he is. Oh, he's checking to see if there's a double gas. And there is not, and since there isn't, he is going to be taking an extractor from his opponent here. So good job there by Deylon. Eriksson did scout his opponent. He is done with his scouting here for just a little bit. He's got his second gate going down, and Cybernetics Core is chrono boosted here for the Warp Gate tech. Looking pretty solid there. He did get this second gateway early, so I'm wondering if he's going to go for like a 2-gate expand or something like that. We'll see what he's got in store for us here. And in the meantime, Deylon is going to be taking his expand up here on the high ground, the small expansion. 6 mineral patches, 1 Vespene Geyser. So kind of it's an interesting expand to take. It can be useful early game, but it does change the build orders. Because it's not a full expansion, you can't fully saturate it. Well, I mean you can, but you can't saturate it with the same number of harvesters that you can a regular size expansion. Otherwise it's oversaturated. Okay, and and that changes how much when your other expand time has to be. Sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked there. I'm trying to take care of these guys. But yeah, I mean that's what we do when we don't have tons of admins around. I kind of have to be the admin at the same time. And the nice thing here for Protoss though is it is an easy expansion for Protoss to take. But again, since it is smaller, it is going to change the amount of buildings that you can potentially run off of 2 base income. since it's basically half the income essentially. You can't get as many warp gates out. You can't get as many, high tech structures. It really can change what your strategy, your overall strategy, it has to be in this game. So you'll see a lot of people go ahead and just take this one. It's fairly easy to take. It's got a big wide open area here. You can see there's a big choke to defend here, and this big back door. But they have to take down this destructible debris or rocks, I guess is what it is, first before they can come in that way. And it does have 2,000 HP, so it makes it basically early game to mid game. This is the attack route, so pretty simple. Ooh, looks like we're gonna get a snipe on this overseer. Nicely done there by Eriksson. And a spire going down for Deylon. I'm not entirely sure how to say his name. However, Deylon sounds good enough right now. A couple more drones headed over here. See this? You can see already that this particular expand is oversaturated. Look at that. Oversaturated here. I mean, he's got guys sitting around. So, I mean, this is one of the problems with those small expands. You've really got to be on top of what's best. And that's funny because his main is not quite oversaturated. It's not quite fully saturated. Looks like he could use a couple more here. But really what he needs to do is go ahead and take his third at this point. We are 9 minutes into the game. We haven't really had any skirmishes quite yet. He needs to be taking his third base, so yeah. Which would put him at 2.5 expands. So, I mean, it's not like he's rushing, going crazy or anything, especially at 9 minutes. So, that's okay. And Eriksson could probably use one as well. Did go for the robo, is going to be going for his robotics bay here. I kind of like this. I think this is probably a good way to go. It will be tough to support off of this 2.5 base, though. So he's going to need to think about... But here comes the first kind of attack. I'm not sure that he's really trying to attack here as much as he is just going to try and gather some information. See if he's going to rush up this ramp. I kind of doubt it. Well, he's coming up there. Backing out immediately. Wants to just see what's going on. He did scout the army size here. He did see a whole bunch of stalkers, so that's good. So decent scouting there. Doesn't want to sacrifice an overlord or an overseer at this point for that. I don't blame him. And that's probably good enough information. However, he did not see our Robo Bay and our robotics facility, which is currently pumping out a Colossus. Great stuff there. Now, interesting thing here for Deylon is that he's on the exact same economic footing as Eriksson is. And Eriksson did get some good scouting information in here with his observer, is putting up photon cannons like crazy. And so hopefully, these guys are going to get up in time. This is iffy. Good. Stalkers will be in place in just in time. So good defense here by Eriksson. That scouting coming in super handy right there. And Deylon going to be backing out here with these guys. Doesn't want to continue the harass. I mean, I guess I don't blame him, but when it comes down to it, if you're going to commit to that many, well, that's not too many, I guess. But when you're going to commit to a lot of Mutalisks, then you really have got to, you've really got to use them, make something happen with them. They're a very expensive unit. They cost a lot of gas. You've really got to get something done. And the main's not very well protected here. So, I mean, he could have done some damage here in the main. I mean, there's all sorts of different things that he can be doing with them. But camping him at his base is usually not the greatest idea. Now he's getting a couple more together. It looks like he is going to head out, try and make something happen here. I like to see this play with Mutas. I think they're a super, super great unit, but they require a lot of action. You've really got to keep those guys moving, keep them doing damage. Otherwise, you allow your opponent to just mass up a good, solid counter to it. and that can be, you know, difficult to deal with. So good harass there. He did take out 2 of those photon cannons. I think he may have got... Let's take a look at Control R, see if he did. He's got a couple kills, it looks like, for the workers, but not very many. I mean, he hasn't done tons of economic damage to his opponent right now. You know, the good thing for Deylon is that he is taking his expand, which I think is probably the best move. Maybe just a little bit late here, but that's okay. He did get it up before his opponent did take an expand, so that's, I mean, it's not the worst situation. He is going to be slightly ahead there. Let's take a look at the units tab for just a moment. You can see that he's got 53 harvesters to 45. However, 45 is plenty for Eriksson right now. I mean, two base Potros can be fairly strong, which or 1.5 base, I guess, right? 1.5. But regardless, he's going to be in pretty decent shape. I do like his tech pattern here. He does have +1 upgrades, or attack rather, on his ground units here. That will go for the Colossus as well. Oh, he just finished +1 armor, so that's nice. +1, and going to be moving out here. I like it. Could be in pretty decent shape here. He does have enough stalkers, it looks like, to counter these mutas. Even though he doesn't have tons of Colossus, well, he's got 3, and they'll get focused down fairly quickly by Corruptors. I wonder if we've got some more Corruptors on the way. We do. Let's take a look at the production tab. Nope. Oh, no, there's 2. There's 2 on the way. But, I mean, 3 Colossus is going to be able to decimate this many Zerglings soon enough where it's not really going to matter too much. So I think this attack for Eriksson could probably go pretty well. He's going to have to be a little careful with his micro, obviously. He wants to try and keep his Colossus as long as possible, his Colossus alive as long as possible. But camping here in the center of the map, not a good idea. It makes it difficult to defend against Mutalisks. Gonna cancel? No cancel. Okay, and no cancel there either. And here comes the attack. Deylon gonna be backing out with his mutas. Lots and lots of units living through this. These Colossus staying alive way too long. Ground army here for Eriksson, doing a phenomenal job cleaning up. Okay, now is the clincher. He's got to take out these Mutalisks. If he can take out these Mutalisks, he's going to be in great shape. I think Eriksson gearing up to take this win down right now. 1 Colossus still alive here. Really, really good stuff. Plenty of Zealots alive. Trying to keep his Stalkers alive is a great idea at this point. Oh! And there's some reinforcing Stalkers. Looks to be in pretty decent shape. Take out the air units of Deylon, and he is going to be just fine. Going to be moving into the main here in just a second. Get control of your units, though. Taking out Zerg Cocoons is not a good idea. However, it may not matter. This looks like a large enough force here where he might be in pretty decent shape. And time to move up the ramp here. There we go. And there's the GG from Deylon. So very, very good job. That was a nice timing attack. He waited for +1/+1, moved out with his Colossus there. Plenty of Stalkers to fend off the air units, and it was just really, really well played. I think for Deylon, the only thing that he could have done better was expand a little faster, which would have allowed him to mass out some units just a little bit faster. I think probably would have helped him, but other than that, I mean, that was just really, really well played there by Eriksson. So good job. We will see him advancing in the tournament. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt tab, always alt StarCraft. We'll see you guys in just a bit.